congratulations to Jeezy and Jeannie. Okay. Now, what some people might know, what some people might not know, is that Jeannie's husband, her ex-husband, and her had some issues in their marriage because Jeannie never wanted a kid, right? And now she's with this, this rapper, this reformed street guy who's doing his thing now, and wow, they have a baby. Now she's not only is she pregnant, but she's doing the photo shoots. There's a picture of her in a nice blue, elegant, wavy dress. Like, I was like, okay, go ahead, Jeannie. And the question becomes, can you be happy with your ex experiencing something with someone else that you wanted them to experience with you? Right? Because I don't know if Jeannie's husband was perfect, but for us to be married all these years, and for then you to marry someone else and then have that baby with them, it makes me wonder, well, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was treating her crazy. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe she didn't like his personality or his parents. Maybe she did. Who knows? But what we do know is that this type of stuff does happen. Like, ladies, tell me how many times you've heard about a woman holding a man down before he becomes the athlete or the entertainer or that successful businessman. And then once he does that, in the words of Ye, he might leave for a white woman, or he just might leave, or he might cheat. And then he gets with the next woman, gives her everything that you always wanted. Or the man he was smoking his weed, he was playing his video games with you. You know what I'm saying? You left him. He said, wait, I'm better than this. I can do better than this. He finds another woman. He gives her everything that you always wanted. He's hardworking. He done put the blunts away. He only does half of edibles now, and it's only after work. Okay. Now he is the best man for this new person. How do we feel about that? Because you know what, T, I think I might feel just a tad bit of a way, but at the same time, I feel like this. Like, if you weren't that for me and you are that for someone else, I mean, maybe you just wasn't supposed to be that for me. And for me, I'm thinking I should be excited about the person who's going to be that for me. You know what I mean? But I think everybody thinks about it differently. And I can also say from my own personal experience, whenever I've broken up with people or ended a relationship, it wasn't like these people were at the bottom, at the lowest of the low. They were already successful and awesome and great. I chose, like, if we broke up, we both broke up while we were both doing good and at the top of our games. So this is not something I can relate to as much, but I want to hear what your thoughts are, because I think it is something that's real and that happens to people.
Yeah. And I think what you just said, like, helps explain it for me, and knowing like when like you're okay with it and when you aren't, right? Like, it has a lot to do with closure, right? Like, if you ended it on like mutual terms and things were well, and you just agreed that like this isn't working out that well, and like I might love you as a person, but like you're not my person, right? Like, I think that is much different than like you not having that closure and shit didn't go well, and then you fuck around and see them happy with somebody else, or you see them with a kid, and it's like y'all used to have arguments about it and y'all never came to a mutual, like a common ground. So I think that's what it really comes down to for me. Like, it just, because I could definitely see, like, I'm trying to think if there's an example. Yeah, actually, hold on. There is an example. So I'm thinking about my last relationship, right? We had plenty of discussions of how like, oh, I would never have anyone on social media, blah, blah, blah. I'm not comfortable with that, right? And it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's how you feel. Like, I'm not too pressed about that. But then it's like the next relationship you seen them in is like, oh, you post that shit, you announced it on Instagram. That's weird.
Right.
I think you were a liar, right? So I think, and it's like, I didn't even really feel no way, but I felt a bit of a way, right? Because it's like, that's not that shit you was talking over there, right? So I think for me, it really comes down to like knowing that shit was never gonna work. I think that that's the closure that people have to kind of understand. It's like, if you really wanted a kid and this person didn't want a kid and y'all ended up not together and they end up with a kid, it's like that should affirm to you that like this was not a relationship meant for you. And I really want to shout out this lady on Twitter named Nita. She said Jeannie Mae and Jeezy's relationship affirms that we often waste our time trying to build a life with the wrong person. We need to listen to those voices in the back of our heads. And I think that to me is big facts, because it's like, if y'all do get to that point and there's something that is just irreconcilable, and so there's something you can't agree on or something that just isn't meshing, you knew that at some point in time before, and you tried to compromise, or you tried to make it work, but it just didn't fit. And I really love this tweet because I feel like it hits that nail on the head. But how about you? Do you think that you could be happy for your ex if they were experiencing something that they were supposed to be experiencing with you?
Well, you know what? I think it's that where it's supposed to be, right? So I think it's two things. First of all, I'm an out of sight, out of mind type guy. So I told my last ex, no, truly, like I told my last ex on the phone call when we were breaking up, I was like, hey, look, I love you. I care about you. I want you to be happy. I want you to get married, have a bunch of kids, have a great life, career, anything that you want, I want for you. But I don't want to see that, because what we had was special. I love you. I care about you. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that on my timeline. I don't really want to have nothing to do with you. I want you to eat, but not near me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, my feelings were there. And when I love hard, I love deep. And I don't want to be reminded about the love that I had for someone in the past, right? So like, but that's how I operate. So for me, I'm never really in too much of a position to, you know, well, one ex has me blocked. So they took that out of my hands. So God bless them. You know what was funny? I actually randomly found out like what company they work for when I was doing some LinkedIn searches, but not because of them, but because of I was doing some job searches for my own. I was just like, oh, look, there's Shawty. Okay. Hey, that's what's up.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But like, I'm never really in a position where I can even see what a woman that I really cared about for real is doing, because I don't follow them. They're like, not my life. I forget they exist almost.
All
like,
of them?
For the most part, unless it was someone that I like. No one that I really, really care about. Now, there are friends that I've had flings with and stuff like that I still see for, cornucopious amount of cornucopia of reasons. But no one that I really, really had deep feelings for do I see, because if it's on Instagram, I mute them. I mute their stories, their posts, out of sight, out of mind. Hear no evil, see no evil. So like,
no matter how long it's been.
No matter how long it's been, bro. Like the longer it's been, like the more likely that I haven't seen them in that long. Like if we stop rocking 5 years ago, I probably haven't, unless I'm hearing about you from a mutual friend of ours or seeing you on a post from a mutual friend's account, by happenstance. Nah, like I keep it moving, baby. So like it just I don't see it, so I don't know about it. So do your thing. You eating, girl. You eating. Whatever you said you weren't going to do with me, you doing with this other guy. That's great. You eating. I want you to do that. But I'll be damned if I'm seeing it. I'll be damned if I'm exposed to it. That's the first thing.
I'm screaming.
The second thing is that, and it hurts, T. It hurts. It hurts to say this, but I know me, and I remember the issues that I had in my last relationship. I remember I tried to fight the field. Fellas, if you don't know what fighting the field is, ladies, if you don't know what fighting the field is, it's when you are basically, upset about all these people who are trying to get at your partner, and like you paranoid about everybody, not because of your partner or trust issues with your partner, but because you feel so disrespected by everybody else trying to constantly get at your partner. You feel like your territories are being encroached upon. And I learned with my last ex, hey, look, I can't beat the field. You know what I'm saying? Because being upset about the field is only going to make our relationship horrible. And then we're going to break up and you still going to end up messing around with someone in the field. So that's what I learned. So if my ex saw me with the next woman, not being like that, she would be in her rights to be like, dang, like, I wish you would have been like that with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wish, but people got the right to change. People got the right to evolve. People have the right to change their mind. And sometimes it is like, there was something particular about that person. But sometimes, your ex might realize, oh shit, I should have done X, Y, and Z with this person.
Mm.
For all we know, Jeannie like did counseling. She had some really deep rooted reasons for not wanting to have a kid. And maybe Jeezy unlocked something in her that made her be like, I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? So sometimes it has to do with you, but not about you specifically. It might have to do with your ex growing and sort of realizing that like your ex has the right to grow. And it's okay because like even the situation you talking about, like, you know, I see you and your babe just had a fantastic photo shoot. You understand? And it's just like you were going to be okay regardless.
Absolutely.
Right. And so like maybe that other person they just hadn't grown to that level yet. Which means y'all might not have been on the same level in that particular section of your lives, which is okay because now you got the freedom to move on and do your own thing. Absolutely. So it's just like that shit always works. So like when you a winner, it don't matter. Like for me, it's like I don't care what an ex does with what anybody else, because you can believe I'm already doing what I need to do with other people. Like my winning is constant. I am the party. I like the winning doesn't leave me. Me and winning is within me. So like it doesn't matter what you're doing with the next person because I was already set with or without you. But that's why I want you to eat because you know, Ashton has a fast metabolism. I'm always eating. I need more food. I'm always eating. So I need you to eat. And that means if I wanted to have steak with you and you didn't want to have steak with me, if I was trying to introduce you to the filet mignon life and you didn't want that with me and now you're eating it with him, that's great because as soon as you left, I was eating filet mignon. I was restricting myself for you. I was leveling down for you. Okay. So now I get to eat filet mignon. So now if I hear on the street she eating filet mignon, I'm like, oh great. I'm glad she finally got introduced to this lifestyle.
Around to the better side of things, right?
That's what I'm saying. Oh, Astro, you upset? I've been eating filet mignon. I've been having even more because I now have to overcompensate because I've been starved from it from so long. So that's what you got to do. You got to be in a relationship where y'all eating the filet mignon together for real. So yeah, man, that's how I feel about it, bro.
Look, I can't wait till this clip come out because you was preaching, boy. Like you took us to church. And I really love what you said. Like the thing about growth, right? Like that is what we should hope for everyone, right? Like if this is supposed to be a loving society and we're supposed to be a progressive society, yeah, maybe so-and-so might have did you wrong, right? Or so-and-so just wasn't where you needed them to be at for you to be in a relationship. I hear this a lot of time with women, right? It's like they feel kind of slighted because they feel like they built a nigga that they wanted, right? And then it's like it didn't work out, and now he's doing so well with someone else and so happy, and it's like, but I never could get that, and I put in that work. And it's go ahead.
No, well, no, and bro, like that's such a point because you when you were mentioning that tweet, it reminded me of this idea of like you got these voices in your head, and like I've been on this tip recently where it's like I've talked to people and I've been like, there's some voices in my head and they're saying, Ashton, this is not really what you want. This is a red flag. And yes, this person is cool. And yes, they're trying, but like, you're not obligated to continue to try. You're not obligated to try to make someone something that you want, because even if I would have ended up dating these people, it would have fallen apart anyway. And it goes back to what you were saying before. And that too, it's just like, we have these voices in our head. And it goes back to what you just said, where it's like, if you are building someone into the person that you want them to be, then you shouldn't be in a relationship with them anyway. Dating is not about building something with somebody or building them into something that you want them to be. It's about loving them for who they are right now. Potential is great, but with some things you can't be like, all right, well, this person is cheating all the time now, but I'm going to make him someone who's faithful. You know what I'm saying? Or this woman is very much into money right now. That's her value, but I'm going to make her less materialistic. No, it's like, if that person already doesn't have those long-term qualities that you seek and is bothering you right now, maybe don't be in a relationship with that person. Yeah. Like, this stuff has to be natural. It has to be organic. And you have to feel, more so early on then later that this is something that can be long-term. Don't let your long-term don't try to change long-term red flags. That's what people try to do. Oh, this person's materialistic. I hate that shit. I hate that. That's something that will always be an issue for me. But you know what? They got every other quality, so I'm gonna go for it. It's like, no.
Change, because that's who they are internally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, and people do it so much, and it's so sad. And thank God that, like, and I used to do that too. I used to try to force things and talk to women for much longer than I should have. And God was in the back of my mind like, Ashton, this person is long distance. You know that's never gonna work for you. Yeah. This person is X, Y, and Z. You know that's the antithesis of what you stand for. Why are you trying to, first of all, apologize for or change up who you are, or make them fit into what you want them to be? Too many people out there in the world.
That's big facts. And I just finished All About Love. Shout out to Bell Hooks. I feel like really put me on. It was super insightful. And she talked about love as like spiritual growth, not only for yourself, but wanting that for the other person. And I think like also not being attached to it being long term, but knowing that like you're in it and it's not conditional, right? Like I think that she really defined unconditional love in that way, rather than like, oh, they can do whatever and it's like, I still love you. Like, no, it's like knowing that like you love them for who they are, and then that they could grow, but that's not the condition of your love. And I think that was a super cool, like just, I don't know, really insightful. And I really appreciated Bell Hooks for that. And there was also, I was talking to a friend too, and it's like, I think people, because I'm apartment shopping right now, so excuse the analogy, but it's like when you're going and looking at like places that you might want to buy or might want to rent, right? And it's like you have to look at the apartment and see yourself in it, right?
Right.
As it already exists. You can't be like, oh, this place would be perfect if I knocked out a wall and then I got a washer and dryer added and then I added a dishwasher. Like, no, you got to take it for what it is. And you can decorate it. Don't get me wrong. You can make it yours, right? Like you learn to love the walls that you live in, but you have to like appreciate the building itself. You can't knock down no structural things, right? And I think that's how we should look at our relationships with people, because people are who they are and they can grow and they can't change, but the essence of who they are will always be that. So I just, a lot of what you said just really reminded me of that. And two, like, I was just talking to a good friend and he said that like for most of his exes, he wishes them the best. And just kind of like you and I feel that same sentiment. And it's like, I wish them all the best, but that one in particular, I wish that she gets all that she deserves, right? And it's like, I mean that in the most honest and genuine way, right? Because it's like you reap what you sow. It's like I hope for that growth. I hope for enlightenment. And I hope that she hits a Jeannie Mae moment, right? But it's like, I hope for everything that you deserve. I hope for karma more than anything. And I think that is how, but also,
oh man,
you'll also say that. And yeah, shout out to the bro, because when he said that, I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
Oh man, oh god, that might be one of the sickest lines you've ever said on this podcast. Oh man, y'all, we're gonna make that a t-shirt. I don't wish my ex the best. I wish she gets everything they deserve. I hope from the bottom of our heart they get everything they deserve. T, that might have been one of the greatest / toxic things you've ever said. I'm supposed to be the toxic one here, okay? That might have been one of the craziest things. Oh, that was great. That was great.
I mean that with no malice in my heart. Like whatever is earned is what you should get. You feel me? And that's not now. That's just in a whole life sense. It's like, well, you might bear some real fruit. So, but no. Wow. The last thing I want to say is just that I really like what you said too when you were saying that like you have to go through things, and I think that this is what I think of when people talk about building somebody up. And it's bringing it back to bell hooks. It's like if you're invested in your own spiritual growth and your own growth as a person, then no relationship can ever fail, right? Because I feel that I was much more equipped, and this is with every relationship. At the end of every relationship, I feel much more equipped to go into another relationship and be a amazing partner, or be a better partner. And I feel like I cherish my last relationship for that reason, right? It's that though I did not have that experience that I would have liked to with that person, I think that that was the experience I needed to have so I can have this experience with the most wonderful person that I know. So it's like, I think just like you said, life it always comes full circle like that.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. I think that it's your life is a summation of experiences, and you got to trust that, like, as these parts are adding themselves together, even if you don't like certain equations and how certain equations worked out, it's the sum total is still going to be something that you can appreciate and love. And you're in a great sum total right now. You know what I'm saying? You're rocking.